Hey everybody, it's Mark, Dr. Deadwax. It's time for the Inbox Challenge 2, Day 6. Nearly at the end of the first week. Only 3+ weeks to go. I have no idea why I do this to myself. Yeah, I do. This shit's out of control. So today's numbers were picked by D. Washington 607. Daryl. Daryl has amazing taste in music. Him and I'd say we have pretty similar tastes when it comes to jazz. So I was hoping I'd pull some jazz today, and I did. However, I think if there were format wars in the VC, Daryl and I would be on opposite teams. So, pretty good bag of stuff here. This one's a weirdie, though. The Baroque Beatles book. This is like Beatles tunes. Look at this. Rediscovered and edited by Joshua Rifkin. And this has like kind of pieces done in the Royal Beatles Works music with overture, Rejoissance, Le Pax, L'amour, Les Plaisirs, Epstein variations. The last night I said cantata for third Saturday after Shea Stadium. Trio Sonata, Das Käferlein, and all tunes by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. They didn't do any Harrison or Ringo tunes, I wonder why. But here's the kind of track list here. So it's kind of weird. And it's this is an Electra. This is EKS 7036. This is an Electra stereo. It has a laminated cover, which is kind of unusual. And this still has the original tip in. The Baroque Beatles book, which I think is kind of cool. And even though it's on Electra, it's on this different label than what I'm familiar with. This is this label, which is not one I'm familiar with. This record has got a few scuffs on it, but this is in surprisingly good condition for its age. I think it's like contemporary with probably the Beatles' 4th or 5th record. So anyway, this has been in the inbox for 5 years, and it would have been in there again until I died. This is just something I kept because it was Beatle-y and it was in good condition. So, kind of thing I'll sell to like a collector at some point. But if I ever do a show, or my wife lets me open a record store, that's never going to happen. She'll kill me first. Next is and that is essential for a Beatles collector, and it's for sale. But not for anybody else. Joni Mitchell, Ladies of the Canyon. This has tunes we all know. Big Yellow Taxi, Woodstock, Circle Game. This is on the Tan Reprise, Tan Reprise label. This, I don't believe this is a first pressing. I think a first pressing of this is on a two-tone Reprise, not the solid tan. And this comes, it says back cover. I'm sure the art's probably done by Joni Mitchell. She did a lot of her own artwork. And this is a great record. And surprisingly, it's a UK press, or US press, and it's got some scratches on it, and it still sounds really good. It has this beautiful high-end detail that, even though this is nowhere near the first plate, is still, and the record's kind of, you know, probably grade visually VG or VG plus if I was to sell it on eBay. But it's still, it's really good sonically, so I'm quite impressed with the quality of that piece of vinyl, which is, you know, reprise can be kind of hit or miss. They never really had a brilliant mastering engineer work for them, and I don't know why that is. Although they did have good sounding records, but they were never signed. Next is one of these foil covers. This is LA4, Just Friends, Concord Jazz. This is on the Concord Jazz label, and this is direct to disc. I think Andreas might have been in this band. Oh no, that's somebody named Jeff Hamilton. Here's the back cover. And this is on a white label Concord, although it's not a white label promo. And this is just a thick, solid stack of vinyl. Now, while this is on Concord, this was recorded at Capitol, and I don't know if that's going to focus. It's kind of glaring out. Anyways, it says there's the Master by Capitol stamp, but it doesn't have Wally. I kind of expected it to have a Wally in there too, because he was involved in a lot of the direct-to-disc recordings that Capitol Records did, or other people did at Capitol Records facilities. But Wally Trajan. Anyways, Wally Traggett, whatever the fuck. He was not involved with this. This is just fantastic. Straight ahead, no nonsense, traditional jazz, but incredibly well performed, and very well done. Larindo Almeida, Ray Brown, Jeff Hamilton, and Bud Shank. And they do Nouveau Bach, Karen Hozo, Just Friends, Love Medley, which is Love for Sale and Love Walked In, and Spain, which is a Chick Corea tune. And so a direct-to-disc record is a record that's recorded live off the floor to the lacquers. So that a band will come into a studio, they'll get it set up, they'll play, they might cut some test lacquers, so they might, well, no, they won't cut test lacquers, but they'll record to tape, and they'll play back, and they'll work the sound console and stuff until they get the sound right how they want it to sound. And then once they've done that, they'll turn on the lathe, drop the needle, and the band will play for 16 to 22 minutes. And then they'll turn off the lathe, get the next lacquer, put it on, and the band will play again. And, you know, depending on how, you know, if there's a flub, then you stop, then you throw away the lacquer and you start again. And it's not like lacquers were, I think, overly expensive. I think they might have been 60, 80, a couple $100 tops a piece. So, you know, it wasn't a budget breaker for a company like Columbia to do this. But you can only do it so much. And the thing about the direct-to-discs is, in all honesty, there weren't that many great musicians who made them because they didn't have the balls to go live to the thing and not make mistakes. you know, you get very comfortable in the security of the overdub. Also, a lot of the musicians who made them, the performances were tight. Not good tight, but bad tight. They were stiff because they were afraid to totally go for it in case they made a mistake, because then they'd have to stop and start again. So I find that a lot of direct-to-disc recordings are sonically excellent, and musically, they're a bit of a letdown. So this isn't one. This is just a great jazz record. You know, it's not essential by any means. It's just a good jazz record. But it was a highly enjoyable listen, and I'm glad to get it. And that's, I think, pretty sure that's on the TAS, the audiophiles, the Absolute Sounds list of audiophile pressings you have to impress your friends. You know, they have a list of the only records you ever need to listen to over and over and over again. And lots of people who are audiophiles, that's all they ever do. And I'm pretty sure that is on it. They have another one that was direct-to-disc, I think, with a peacock on the cover. Maybe that's the one that's on the list, or maybe both of them are on the list. Next is Harrison Blanchard, Crystal Stair. And this is just a great record. Terence Blanchard and Donald Harrison. And they were like young lions. They were, when Art Blakey, in the later years of his Jazz Messengers, he had the Marsalis brothers in it, Wynton and Brantford. And when Wynton and Brantford left his Jazz Messengers, these two guys replaced them. And in my opinion, equally as talented as musicians, without the Marsalis pedigree name to give them more publicity and exposure and open more doors that name has done for the Marsalis boys. Well, these guys are great. They subsequently, this is when they left Jazz Messengers. They were a duo. They put out about 4 or 5 or maybe 6 records, and now they've both gone on their own separately. My opinion, Donald Harrison's one of the best saxophone players alive. I've had a chance to see him live. He's amazing. This record is excellent. The best record of the night, and you know, this is 1986, I think, 1987. But for modern, you know, even though it's 30 years old, let's kind of call it modern contemporary jazz. This is really well done. It plays to the past and the future, and I think that's what makes it really excellent. I can highly recommend this. I can recommend anything by Donald Harrison and Terence Blanchard. Donald Harrison is also the musical director for the TV series Treme, about New Orleans, the one that's done by the guys who did The Wire and Homicide: Life on the Street. And finally is, and that's just on a Red Label Columbia, Steve Lacy Quintet Troubles. This is from the CBC archive out of Toronto. And this is Black Saint. And this is an excellent record. This is not. My cat left the room. Got up out of her bed and went and left. And that is never a good sign, because cats love analog. And she left for this, and she'll sit through anything. So, I don't know. There's a record by Dave Liebman called Drum Mode. that's just fantastic. Except there's a song on there that a woman sings on, and it's absolutely horrible, and it kills the whole record for me. And this lady who plays the violins, she also sings on this on a couple songs, and wow, is that just terrible. So this is not a Black Saint I enjoy. And even if I revisit it, I know I won't. Sadly. Still want the t-shirt. Steve Lacy Quintet, trebles. Harrison Blanchard, Crystal Stair. Fantastic record. Can also highly recommend Black Pearl, and I'm just looking for everything else they did too. LA4, Just Friends. It's great. And if I remember correctly, I paid $5 for that, $2 for that, $3 for this. Ladies of the Canyon, this is just fantastic. I mean, Joni Mitchell is so overlooked. Just, every record that she released is in a dollar bin, and I don't know if it's because she's a woman or whatever, but she's a massive talent, and her music is just, it is fantastic. And finally, the Baroque Beatles book. Everybody needs to own this record, and I'll sell it to you. Alright, everybody. That's the end of day 6. Thanks, Daryl. I think you picked some really good numbers. There was some excellent listening in there. I enjoyed 3 of those records immensely. And some days when I do this, I don't enjoy anything. So thanks for playing along. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for commenting, as always, and interacting. That's what this is all about. Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning.